Welcome to another beautiful day and another day of Dose of Did You Know? We're inspiring, intriguing, unique individuals talk love and life. What have gotten them to where they are exactly today? And sitting with me is Doreen. Doreen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. So, a little backstory of Doreen and I. We met through the 1 Mile Leadership Project. Um, and she is a hot ticket. She's got a lot going on, a lot of drive, a lot of passion. And I was like, I need to, first of all, I need some of that because I look at your arms and I look at your workouts and I'm like, son of a biscuit, can you, if we were closer, you would be sculpting me. I would need that. And normally I don't really say that because those people are like, oh, you're just so boring and I can't take it. Not the case when it comes to you. So which made me reach out and say, please, will you come on and share your love and your life with the world. So tell the world a little bit about who Doreen is.
Okay, so I'm a personal trainer. I do coaching, group exercise instruction. Fitness is my passion. I absolutely love it. I'm also a brand ambassador for Live Cycling. But what's cool about this is part two of my life, as I describe it, because part one was me, homeschool mom of 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I learned how to manage a group really well, which in a incredibly awesome way translated right into what I do now because I was facilitating all that. And by the way, I feel for all of you that are now homeschooling, didn't choose to do that because it was a choice on my part. But yeah, fitness is my passion, and my goal is to help people become the best version of themselves. You don't have to look like me or that person. It's just being the best version of who you are, and that's my focus.
Yeah. And that is again why I love you. And Todd's watching. Yes, Todd, give her the muscle because dang, she might kick your butt, Todd. So watch it. If you step out of line. But side note, fun fact about Doreen, you learned to ride a bike at what, 40?
Yeah, I was about 42 when I started riding my bike because, like I said, the whole fitness thing was part two. I had gone back when I first went to college. Yes, the whole homeschool thing did end pretty well. I've got two getting PhDs. One's a Coast Guard officer, so that big experiment went okay. In case you were wondering. But when I first went away to school, I recognized that I was like, what am I going to do? Because I'd been spending all that time and energy there. So I went back to school, started in nursing, decided that I was not cut out for that because my heart ached. I worked as a volunteer in an emergency room, and I just couldn't leave, what I saw there behind.
Yeah.
So I decided to get into wellness. And from there, taking classes in kinesiology, learned to ride a bike, learned how to swim, all after the age of 40. So I didn't look like this when I was homeschooling. Okay, this was an evolution that happened after that. And what's cool about it is, I raised 5 kids. I had children. I know what it feels like to be totally out of shape, and I remember it. So when I'm coaching people, I know how they're feeling because I was there. And I was not a college athlete, and I didn't know how to ride a bike, and I didn't know how to swim. And those were all things I did later. And I think in the process, I recognized that it's never too late. And I tell that to people all the time. I'm like, look, it's never too late to get started. And I can attest to that myself because who would have thought that I'd be not knowing how to ride a bike, and then on team 1 mile.
Yeah, talk about that because not everybody knows what Team 1 Mile is. And when I say she learned to ride a bike, she just doesn't ride a bike down the street. Like I have videos of her, like, I don't even know what the hell you're doing, but it is in the woods and there's dirt and there's hills and jumps involved. And I'm like, dear mother, I have no coordination now. I kind of the opposite. I went from a professional ballerina and a professional athlete to a car accident,
Okay.
to being bedridden, to not like having any depth perception. And so my balance is all off. So I look at you and I'm like, oh, I mean, I can do it, but it's a little scary, not going to lie.
I'll approach you for a second right now.
Yes.
When you work out, what you need to do is not compare yourself to where you're at right now to where you were then. That's
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Because I would in tears, because I used to. I spent a lot of time in tears, Doreen, when I was able to first get out there. I was like, I look like an 8-year-old woman out there and I'm ashamed. So I had to go through a lot of anger management.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that story sometime.
Yeah, that's another time. I want to go more about you. Talk about 1 mile. We got sidetracked.
So 1 mile is amazing. It's a group of incredible. It's a group of fighters, badass people who are attacking life, trying to inspire and encourage others to do the same. And Mike invited me on the crew for the Race Across America team. And when he did, and I just paused for a second and I looked at the rundown of the riders that are set to ride for us, I was so humbled to be asked to even just be on the team, on the crew as potentially backup, was like, this is, yes, I am all in for this. And the other side of it is that what we're doing is to raise awareness for veterans issues, which is something I've done in the past already. I was on a panel that set up a fundraiser at the local junior college to raise awareness and funds for the veterans, specifically mental health services. Mm-hmm. I did the packet pickup at my location. I ran a station for a challenge station. It was really cool. We did that last year. I don't see it happening this year, maybe in some kind of virtual sense, but I've always been committed to veterans, efforts because I value what they do, and my daughter's Coast Guard.
Well, I want to talk about that for a second, because I'm a Marine veteran mom. Okay. And you are currently, your daughter's in the Coast Guard.
That's right, yeah.
Is some of your passion, this is what pushed me into, instead of dabbling with veteran affairs and nonprofits and purpose, kind of pushed my heart into devoting my life into it, was watching my cousin first and then my son go through it. In the back of your mind as a mom, does it give you a different kind of fire because you're maybe foreseeing a future in your daughter? I don't know.
Yeah, yes, because our family, she's the first in the family to go on a military path. And so our understanding of what that life was going to look like was very minimal. I mean, people can talk about it, but unless you're living it, you just don't have any idea. And when she was at the academy, we got our first sense of what military life really looks like. And they're making sacrifices for us big time, and I thought, for me, it's like, geez, the least we can do is make sure that we provide them with the resources and support they need. And, when we have the numbers of veterans that are committing suicide, it's totally unacceptable. Yeah. Our veterans should never have to feel like they have to fight to get services. I had a veteran in one of my classes, and he had a knee issue. And I kept telling him, it's like, hey, you need to push. You need to get help with this. And he was getting a lot of pushback for it. And I was very, very concerned about it. And it turned out that he actually went and pursued an individual doctor on his own and ended up with a cancer diagnosis in his knee. And again, so it's things like that where I thought, that is totally unacceptable. So that's also why I push for it, because I think it's the least we can do is make sure they get what they need after what they've done for us.
Yeah. And and about the 1 mile, going to it, one of the things I asked Mike was, okay, you say you want, so many people say, I'm going to bring awareness, I'm going to do that. this and that. And really all it is a shining bright for whatever that organization is or whatever that moment is. So I'm like, I want to see actually what is it that you're doing? Because if you can't tell me, and actually I can't see the give back, then I can't align myself with it and participate, because I don't need to be highlighted. I don't need to highlight someone else's group that does nothing for me at all. Like the complete opposite. And he laid it out. He told me specifically what it is, that how they give back, and what they do. I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because otherwise it's lip service.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see some real action here, not just words. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to like throw that in because I stand so strongly for that. You know, we're not here to fluff anybody else's feathers. We're here to actually do the work that we say. So,
yep.
All right, so I had to put that, but that is Doreen's My Connection is 1 mile. And Mike, thank you for putting that on there. I know he's out there and he's watching and supporting. But continue on, because now you're in a very unique but not so unique space with what you do, with regulations that are being put on you, and the mental ability to stay positive and keep pushing forward. And this doesn't just go during COVID. This goes exactly to like the kind of tie-in is when you feel like you can't, when you're isolated and you just want to give up and life sucks, whether you are a veteran, whether you're going through a divorce, whether you're going through a loss, whether you have shame and regret from things in your life, we go through this emotion. So can you share a little bit about where you are right now?
So when COVID hit and everything was shut down, we were told to shelter in place. My gym closed. So initially I was lost for about 2 weeks. I felt like my purpose in life had been taken from me. I waited it out 2 weeks thinking, how long could this thing go? I think a lot of us thought the same, right? How long could they make us shelter in place?
Yeah.
Once it went beyond 2 weeks, and I recognized that I had to channel my energy in a different way, and that I could still have a positive impact on people's lives and mental health by focusing on positive things. Because at that same time, there was so much negativity in social media too. So not only were we sheltering in place, we couldn't, and I was feeling like I couldn't fulfill my purpose in life.
Yeah.
There was also a ton of negativity. And so I started my social media very, very specifically only posting positive content. Now, sometimes it's silly because you might see me riding my bike on crazy hills in a tutu.
Yes.
If you go to my page, you'll see it. Okay.
Or a tutu. You might see her in a tutu, which I love.
But the focus was on what's beautiful. I mean, because I didn't really know where else to go with that. And by focusing on the positive in social media, it helped keep my brain going there as well. And so that was one thing I did. And I also rode my bike, and rode my bike. So that's always been an outlet and a channel for me, to deal with stuff that's going on in my life. Yeah.
So I want to talk now. Awesome. And now I want to give some inspiration and some maybe, I don't know if inspiration is the right word, but maybe like, I know what you're going through. So you made adjustments. You were allowed in your city. I don't even know what city it is, actually. I know you're in Central Time Zone. That's all I know. That you could make adjustments as a business, that your business could make adjustments, and you guys became innovative. And then that adjustment and that innovation was ripped from you.
Yeah.
So you got through this mental first phase, I feel like, of, okay, I'm going to be the sense of positivity for my own mental health, to be able to handle what's going on. And how many times have we done that in our life where we're like, okay, I've got this under control, and then something external happens and they're like, no, you don't. Someone take it all away again. So talk about that, because you were innovative and you made your gym.
Because gyms are essentially shut down. And what we did, my boss, Paul Rubio, very innovative. I mean, he wants this business to survive. What we ended up doing was setting up workouts in the parking lot. And we took parking spaces and we carved out a space for each person. And there was no sharing of equipment or anything. Everything was sterilized between workouts. There was a parking space in between each one. And we got workouts rolling outside. And man, it was a heck of a lot of work, pulling equipment out, getting it set up out there. But I was so glad to be back coaching, and the people that were coming were excited to be moving again. Because, again, everybody's at home and they're not moving, and you can't buy gym equipment. It's all sold out. And, we want to stay healthy to fight things like a virus. So we got that going. I think we were going about 3 weeks when the landlord said, your lease does not include the parking lot. So you guys are going to have to cease and desist there. And, being in a situation where the government's forced us to shut down, coming up with an innovative solution that would keep people safe, not only from the virus, but healthy physically, which helps them stay safe from the virus. Mm-hmm. And then to be told, well, your lease doesn't cover the parking lot. It's just been really frustrating. So, we're trying different avenues. We haven't given up. We're still pushing forward. It's been hard to get leases from landlords in general, because I know Paul has been looking, because they don't know what the future of fitness is going to look like, or when we're going to be able to be paying our bills again. Because if you can't run a workout, how do you pay your lease?
Right.
But I know that he's been exploring outdoor options, building out outdoor spaces, which may end up being the future of fitness as we know it. Mm-hmm. So we're pushing on, but it's been a little frustrating for us, for sure. But we don't give up.
No, I don't imagine that you would. But do you feel, and I kind of feel when I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you talk, that this mindset of not giving up is something that has built and grown? Like, you have practiced it, you're honing it. There have got to be times where you question and it just becomes overwhelming. But even through that, it looks like you have surrounded yourself, whether it's through people online or people that you have physically in your life, that are going to help push you through those dark times, to keep that muscle. It's like a muscle, that muscle growing of, I will not stop. I understand my purpose, that no matter how many times you try to rip it from me, I will reinvent it to stay on that path.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and I do. It's a combination of things. I definitely have friends around me. I'm very careful about who I listen to, because it's not that I don't want people to speak into my life, but I also recognize that they need to be the right people, and they, and I too am very careful with when I speak into another person's life. I feel that and I don't mind criticism, and when we are criticized, it is intended to build us up and lift us up and be constructive. So I do have a small circle of very close friends that I'm seeing them in my mind right now. And I have some online too. And I also focus on positive content. So if I'm going to read something, I'm not going to the disaster news stories. No. I'm looking for positive, uplifting, constructive content to pour into my life so that I can stay positive, stay strong, and keep moving forward through the hard stuff. So I read a lot. I collect quotes. And if I'm in a certain space, I go to this quote page and I read through the quotes, to lift me up.
That's a great tool, actually. I love that, collecting quotes, and then you have it, because we all need, the tools and things like that. And it helps us stay aligned to our core purpose, because not all advice is advice that we should take, whether they're from our tight circle or external. It's not always. And
Oh,
sometimes we get confused, right? We get, we're in a weak spot and we get confused. So we take that advice, even though it may unsettle, but you think maybe it's just that constructive criticism. So having that alignment within yourself in relationship constantly, I feel be able to, you're more resilient at waving through or weaving through the advice that should be taken and the advice that you should listen to, but set aside because it's not quite appropriate.
I think being true to yourself is actually absolutely essential in that, you know, and then that comes back to knowing your purpose, where you're going, you know, being purposeful in your choices and action every day. Yeah. So I definitely, and I definitely try to stay as true to myself as possible in what I say and what I do. And as long as I'm on that path, then taking a step out, which can be scary, I'm more willing to do that. But if I feel out of sync with me, you know, like, you know, then I'm like reconsidering and rethinking things a little bit.
Yeah. You know what that just hit hard on my heart is when I talk about purpose a lot, like in our military and our veterans, they lose their purpose because it's not the same, but they forget who they are here because they've been trained so perfectly well. I mean, to do what they need to do, but you have to rip yourself out a little bit of who your truth is. So then when your purpose is gone, that you're used to every day, and you haven't been developed in who your truth is because it's just essential for what you do. I feel like it's just kind of like aha came. You go to find the purpose first to recreate that purpose in the hopes that it will fulfill who you are, but it's back ass words. We've got to refine the truth within us so then we can apply that purpose that we will find. That was just like an aha moment of new depth realization for myself.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah.
I love when that happened. Thank you. Thank you for my therapy session. Happens a lot to me. But no, that's as you can see, if you're listening or as you can hear, this is why it was so important for me to have Doreen on, because what she brings, no matter where you are in your life, it opens your eyes through the way she's living and choosing to act and choosing to live in her faith, as we were talking before, whatever that faith is. I said whatever that is, to not let the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt take control. So thank you. Thank you for being you and sharing that part with us today. I deeply appreciate it.
I was so excited to be here.
Yes. But before I let you go, because I know you're very, very busy, but before I let you go, I ask you to answer this last question with the first thing that comes to that like lays on your heart. Don't try to analyze it. Just speak into truth what it is. In this moment right now, Doreen, what does love mean to you?
Oh my gosh. Love is first and foremost in my life. Everything is driven through love. It is my source energy. That's where I'm grounded.
And I feel love means to you, you know how love has multiple meanings? I feel when you sit like, there's agape love, that's the one that usually people understand, you know, like the love of giving and the love of receiving and the passion love. I feel like when you say love, it's that all encompassing of all of them, seeing them for their truth, and then receiving that and giving those where it's appropriate, being very clear on that. That's what I feel love means to you.
It weaves through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my primary focuses is sharing love. And I just wish we did that more. It's it's like focus on love. Focus on love first, not the nastiness. Because living in that space is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a cool question. You nailed it. That's like one of my passions I guess that's where my passion comes from. It's all driven from love.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. It lights, it radiates from you. That's what I wanted. It radiates from you. So thank you so much for sharing again. I truly appreciate it. I will be talking to you. I know I always do, with my got it comment that I get all the time. But to everybody else out there that is watching, remember always love. Yes, love pure, love. I don't even, I'm so lost in my love. Love pure, love proactively. Until next time, we'll see you. Bye bye.
Bye.